Thank you everyone for joining the first Akamai EdgeTalks session. I'm so excited to be here today. I hope you guys will enjoy this session as well. So EdgeTalks is a new concept that I want to bring to our day life on Akamai. And this is actually something that I want to do for the next, actually this year and the next few months, where I will bring people from inside Akamai and outside Akamai, people from different backgrounds, talk about their passions, talk about their projects, so we can all learn from them. And today we have a special guest. His name is Pedro Crespo. He works at Akamai and he's based in Lisbon, Portugal. And Pedro is an experienced people person. He has started in 1996 working in consultancy firms such as Arthur Andersen and Deloitte. But what's most interesting is that his biggest challenge was when he started in 2006 working for Novabase by growing and managing talent and by bringing people closer and more engaged to the organization. And so since then, he has worked with edge methodologies such as design thinking and gamification to create that engagement between the current talent, the new hires, and the organization. And so he has run numerous induction and integration programs, and he has, created and spread a feedback-oriented culture within Novabase as well. And so what's very exciting, and I want to share this with you guys, is he's also a hockey coach, he's a kart race lover, and he's a traveling maniac. And that's why he's here to talk about his passion about traveling, about people, and about his family. His new and latest project is called Family Around the World, and we will be able to learn more from him in a couple of minutes. So without further ado, let's dive into the Family Around the World project and learn from Pedro. So Pedro, take it away.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for your words. Hello, everybody. I will try to share my passion with you. First of all, English is not my native language, so if anything goes wrong or if you don't understand a concept or whatever, you just let me know and I will try to rephrase it. Let me share my screen so that we can start. So what we are going to talk a little bit today is how to plan and save for an around the world journey. This is our family hobby. We are going this year to do our third around the world journey, and I will let you know how can we do it. We are not rich, neither timeless people, so we have our time very limited, limited to our vacation time, and we take really good care of our money, of course. So plan and save for an around the world journey. This is what we believe the crucial stones for such things to happen. The first thing that I would like to do is to present my family, to let you know who we are and how does this relate to a corporation, for instance. So as in a corporation, different profiles, different needs, different expectations have an impact on a family. Rita is the head of family, of course, she's my wife. Every man knows that all women take charge of everything. So Rita is the adventure one. Rita is the one that pushes the family forward and to makes us try to go to different places, to meet different places and to go where we never been before. Rita is 44. I'm 49. I'm the planner. I'm the guy that worries about running out of money in the middle of the journey, that worries that we have to have, when we have everything, have to have everything booked or not. Then we have Beatriz. Beatriz is 16 years old. Beatriz is the sports one. Beatriz wants to try everything, wants to do everything. Beatriz is a real challenge when we travel with her. And then we have the artist of the family, Mariana. Mariana is 19. Mariana is vegan, is a painter, studies arts. So it's a different kind of challenge. As I told you, like in a corporation, the mission of every family is to mix all the components together to have the best cocktail possible. And this is what we try to do every time we travel as a family. What's how did we start? 2012, I decided I was 40 that year, and I decided to share with my wife, with Rita, my childhood dream that I would love to travel around the world. And I used to say that the smartest thing I've done was convincing my wife that we could travel an around the world journey in 1 month, because that was the time we had as a vacation time. We had 1 month, we could do it. We had the means to save for such a trip. And I believe this was the smartest thing I've done, because this changed our family, this changed Rita, this changed me, and changed the way we look into our personal finance, the way we look into how we should plan to live our dreams. This was how we started. What have we done? In 2013, 1 year later, as a couple, we did our first around the world journey. We left the girls behind. Beatriz at 7 years old, Mariana at 10 years old. They stayed with their grandparents. We had an around the world incredible journey. And it's different to travel as a couple than to travel as a family. We repeat this adventure 5 years later, because that was the time we needed to save the money to do another around the world journey. We repeated the adventure in 2018 as a family, and it's completely different. The challenges are different. To wake up every morning and have a girl say, what are we going to do today? What is the challenge for today? Where are we going? Where are we going to eat? When you go as a couple, you can say, okay, I'm good here. Tomorrow we'll leave, or let's leave early. We'll look for an hotel when we get there. You don't do that with 2 children at your care. I don't do that with 2 children at my care. So we plan more. We don't want to run out of money in the middle of the journey. If that happens with you and your wife, or you and your husband, or whatever, you eat rice or you eat a ham sandwich and that's it. But with your children, you don't do that. You take care of that. So the challenges were completely different. We did it in 2013 a certain way, in 2018 another way. This year we will be doing our third around the world journey. Mariana is 19 now. She's an adult. Beatriz is 16, almost an adult. It's completely different again. So we have 4 adults to take care, 4 adults with different needs, different expectations, and it's a thrill, because every time we start planning for these journeys, we start to think about all these things, and it's great. It's fantastic. So today we started more or less 1.5 years ago. We decided to create a small community of travelers and to share. We decided to give back what we have learned and the way we did our things. We decided to create a lot of documentation. We wrote two ebooks about how to plan for an around the world journey and how to save for an around the world journey. I will send it to Jonathan, and he can share with you. And to give back is great, because every time we give back, we learn something new, because people interact, and we get to know how they solve their challenges. We share how we solve our challenges, and it's great. When you start to work as a community, it's fantastic. Some of these materials are only in Portuguese. We have a podcast in Portuguese, but most of the contents is in Portuguese and English. So you can, if you are curious, you can take a look. Okay, how we do it? We have as you can see in the top right corner of the screen, we have a motto that's plan, save, and travel. So plan what you want to see, plan where you want to go, save for it, and go. It's simple. You don't have to go tomorrow. You don't have to go today. You probably will only be able to go in 4 years or in 5 years. Never mind. It's your dream journey. Go. Plan for it, save for it, and go. So the plan phase is the most exciting and demanding one, because when you plan for a journey that it will probably happen in 4 or 5 years time, it's difficult to get your people engaged. The people around you, to get all of them engaged, it's very difficult. That's why I'm the planner. I'm the guy that starts all this. I do some brainstorming, hidden sessions. They don't know I'm doing that, but we start to talk about destinations, about places we would like to see. We start to draw on maps, and in a while we have an itinerary. From the day zero itinerary to the final itinerary, there are so many changes. We change a lot of things, but we start talking about it. Then, because we have an estimate on how much that journey would cost, we know that at a certain monthly rate, we could save a certain amount of euro. We can travel in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 1 year. Depends on you, of course. And then we just go. We have fun. And as soon as we get back from our journeys, we start planning the next one. And this is that's why we also say plan, save, travel, repeat. It's essential for you to repeat it. So let's deep dive a little bit on how we do it. The plan phase, we have let's call it a methodology. We use an Excel spreadsheet with a huge dashboard that we start feeding this Excel as soon as we start defining the first draft of the itinerary, and this ends during the journey. At the final day of the journey, we can confront costs, budget costs, actual costs, everything. And I do this every day when we're traveling. Everybody goes to sleep, and I stay awake half an hour to input all the costs that we had that day to see how are we according to the budget that we had. Why is this important? Because I don't want to run out of money in the middle of the trip. And this, for me personally, that's my skills. For me, that is very important to understand that everybody is aware of what we can and what we cannot do. So the methodology is very simple. We start by defining a duration. How many days can you afford to spend? Is it your vacation time? Is it an absence from work? Is it a gap year? How many days do you have to spend? Do you want to spend? Because you have to want to spend those days. When we choose to spend all our vacation in one travel, we are just saying that during the rest of the year, we are not taking more vacation time, more or less, okay? And who do you want to travel with? This is very important. 2013, we did this as a couple. 2018, we did it as a family. 2022, we are doing it as a family, but we are adding a couple of friends. So we are adding the complexity to the travel. It's really adding complexity because we are traveling with two different type of people. More needs, more expectations, all into that cocktail that I talked to you about. Second step is the itinerary. Walt Disney said, everybody has three hats: the dreamer, the doer, and the critical. This is the time for you to dream. Where would I love to go? I would love to go to Easter Island. I would love to go to whatever. Then you have to be critical sometimes when you are traveling an itinerary. This type of journeys that we do around the world, we move a lot and in a very fast way. So we stay for 3, sometimes 4 days, sometimes 2 days in each destination. we change culture, we change habits, we change religion, we change gastronomy very quickly, and it's so fantastic to be able to adapt very quickly to those changes. So this is the way we do it. Doesn't mean you have to do it like this. This is the way we do it. So if you are staying 3 days in a destination and you take 2 days to get there because you have to get the boats and then you have to go in a small plane and then you have to swim there, it's not doable. It would be fantastic, but it's not doable. You will go there another time in another type of journey. So this is the first thing we do. We start to define an itinerary, try to understand if it can happen or not. Be critical about that. It's only one of the members of the family that wants to go there. The other 3 don't want to go there. We have to compromise. And this is great when you have kids. You start to teach them how to compromise, how to understand the greater good, the good of all. If you are divided, sometimes we understand that this person wants to go there so badly. And for instance, Beatriz was the only one that wanted to go to Iguazu Falls in 2018. None of the others wanted to go, but we understood the passion of Beatriz for Iguazu Falls, and we decided to go there. And this is great. See all the family going together to accept one of the needs of one of the members of the group. So the itinerary. The third thing is transport. We normally use planes, but you can use trains, cars, you can rental cars, bikes, whatever. You have to understand, how do you prefer to travel? We love to travel by night using planes. We have some tricks to deal with jet lag. For instance, if Rita has some difficulty to sleep during the flight, if we travel by night, I sleep very well, the girls sleep very well, but sometimes we have some jet lag issues. So if you arrive to a certain place and you are very sleepy because you didn't sleep enough, we decide to take a nap in the afternoon, and only that, a nap. Take 2 hours sleep. Put in your turn on your alarm clock and force yourself to wake up, go up, go out, and then you go to bed at night again, and you sleep and you are good. If you take a nap, a complete cycle of sleep, 2 hours tops, you are good. And this is just a trick. So we try to look into direct flights, non-direct flights, overnights, durations, jet lag issues, and we try to see online how much would those flights cost. So this is the first costing category: flights, transportation. You can see there's something that I don't know if you have heard about this, the round the world tickets. All the major airline groups, One World, that is British, Iberia, I believe, the SkyTeam that with KLM, Air France, and the Star Alliance with Lufthansa, TAP. All the major groups have this kind of tickets. You buy one ticket that will allow you to travel as much as you can until top mileage. So until if you travel less than 26,000 miles around the world, you will pay X. If you travel, I believe it's 29, the second one in 32,000 miles, the 3 categories, and it's enough for you to go around the world. If you go up and down, it's a little bit more, but it's okay for you to go around the world. It's cheaper than buying every leg separately. The issue is that you have some rules. You cannot change direction, so you have to choose one direction. You either go right or you go left. You cannot change hemisphere twice in the same direction. So if you start from London, you go to Africa, then you go up to Asia, you cannot go to South America because you had already went down from Europe down to Africa, then you go up to Asia, then you cannot go down again to South America. There are some rules, and sometimes the best companies, the airline companies to travel in Asia are not the best to travel in South America. So not all the time the round-the-world tickets are the best option. So we used it in 2013. We didn't use it in 2018. We didn't use it in 2022, and we have already bought the tickets. So sometimes it's good to use it, sometimes it's not. So when you're planning, when you're budgeting, don't budget for this type of tickets, budget for leg-to-leg, each individual leg flights for your budget. Accommodation, once again, depends on you, depends on what you value the most. What do you value the most? Cost, comfort, hygiene, security. You have to understand, for instance, if I go alone with Rita, we can go to a certain type of hotel. We are okay with that. If we take our kids, if they are smaller, we take into account a little bit some other factors. Security, for instance, will be one issue. We don't value comfort, but we value hygiene a lot. So depending on the type of person you are, if you value the comfort of an hotel, or if you want to just go to an apartment and lower your costs, you have to do whatever you want. Try to understand the neighborhoods. You can do this right in the beginning of planning, or you can go and fine-tune this along the way. You have to understand the average price. You go to a booking platform or to whatever. Try to understand the average price in a certain type of accommodation and use this into your budget. Meals, very important. The third factor that we budget is meals. We use a platform, a website, very interesting, called numbeo.com. I don't know if you know it. Numbeo gives you the cost of living of every city in the world. And when I say cost of living, they also say how much a liter of milk costs, but it's important to see what they say about meals. They know, they have the cost of a McMeal in McDonald's. They have a cost of an inexpensive meal, and they have the cost of a mid-range meal with 3 courses. And we use these 3 factors in our Excel. First, we decide what is the minimum price for a meal in this place. And for us, the minimum price is the midway between McMeal and an expensive meal. So in some places, McMeal is cheaper than an inexpensive meal, but in some other places, an inexpensive meal is cheaper than a McMeal. So we decided to put in the middle, and this is our reference as the lowest price of a meal. It's a reference. It is what it is. Then the top is a mid-range meal, because the mid-range meal has 3 courses, and I would say we never go for a 3-course meal. So this is our top and this is our bottom. The reference value for us is the middle of this. This is the reference value. Also, we say many times we have lighter dinners and we sit down at lunch. In other destinations, we have lighter lunch. If you are in the beach or whatever, you have lighter lunches and you sit down at dinner. So also that we can put into this Excel. We say for this destination, every lunch will be 50% of the reference value. Every dinner will be 100% of the reference value. And this will build up on the budget. So you have transports, you have accommodation, you have meals. And then at the end, you have your hidden costs. Things that you don't even know you are going to spend your money. Entertainment, shopping, and others. These are the 3 categories that we use. And normally, if you are years away from your journey, you don't know what is the entertainment, which museums you are going to see. Don't do that. Don't do that right away. Don't do that 4 years before. You will lose your mind thinking about what you are going to do. No, don't do that. Just allocate part of the money to the budget that will cover entertainment, shopping, and others. And we normally calculate that based on the accommodation value, that we believe it's a good value to use as a reference. We say that entertainment will be 5% of the daily accommodation value. Shopping, 5% of the daily accommodation value. And others, 5% of the daily accommodation value. And this is what we do in the beginning. Then 1 year before we go, or 2 years before we go, when we finalize the itinerary, more or less, you say, okay, you are going to Miami. One of the places is Miami. Probably you are going to visit some amusement parks. They have a lot of amusement parks. So I will probably, for this destination, I will get a little bit more money in my budget for entertainment. If you are going to a desert island, you don't need 5% for shopping. It's a desert island. You have the beach and that's it, and some fruit. You don't need 5% of the daily accommodation for shopping. You can lower the budget. So as you go along in time, you will be fine-tuning your budget. Okay? It's important for you to have a very nice idea in the beginning of how much would an around the world journey cost for you. Okay? And this is it. If you go for these 6 steps, you can do it. So the next step is to save for it. And we did this in 2012 and was a very painful exercise. And I will let you know why. 3 things very important when we want to save for a certain thing, and you don't want to go to a bank and ask for the money. You want to do it yourself. First, you have to be aware where you spend your money, aware of your personal finances. Second, what can you save? And how much committed are you with your dreams so that you can save for it? And the third is to change your habits, change what you do, change the way you do it so that you can improve on savings and improve on awareness also. So the awareness is very simple. Once again, we decided to put in a dashboard. We are a little bit geeky in this. I am a little bit geeky, and I push this into my family. So every month, in the beginning of the month, they will receive a notification in an app that I have built with all our dashboards and the main indicators that we defined as a family that were critical for us to monitor. They look into this. They see our savings level. Are we saving? Are we reducing electricity consumption, gas, water, whatever? If we decide, and we have goals in the beginning of the year, this year we want to reduce 5% the spending on water, for instance. And we monitor these goals for us. So the first thing we did, we looked back in time. I believe it was 10 months. We went to our bank statements for the previous 10 months and decided to categorize all the spendings that we had there. Everything that we spent in the last 10 months, we decided to create a category and categorize this and decided to create our monthly budget. So this is where we spend our money, and this is the money that comes in. So at the end of the day, I can see how much money do I have to spare. Okay, 100 here, 150 here, I have to spare 50. But also we added some other things, annual costs. We decided to understand the costs that we had annually, insurance, whatever, and divide it by 12 and put aside. So this has to be a category that I cannot spend this money, because when the time comes and I have to have the money to pay this annual cost, I have to have the money. Okay, so divide the annual costs by 12 and we decided to put this parcel aside. Now this would add on your costs. Then we add extras, things that always happen. The girl needs some glasses. We have to put some braces, whatever. The unexpected always happens. So extras to your budget. And at the end, we have the amount that we are able to save every month. This is very simple. Everybody should do this. Everybody probably does this, but how much comes in, how much comes out, what comes out, understand what comes out, and the difference is how much I can save. If you cannot save anything, if you are spending more than you earn, you have a problem. You cannot travel, but before you travel, you have a problem to solve. That's not a savings problem. So the second stone is savings. Now that we know how much can we save every month, what we did, for what is important for us. For instance, the kids' education. So we decided to create a savings for university. We decided to create a saving specific for traveling. We decided to create a lot of savings, a lot of boxes to put in the money. So, but it's in the bank, of course. So what is important to you? What do you want to save for? Then list this by importance and try to give it some weight. For instance, if traveling is the most important thing for you and it's 80% of what you want, of what you can save, 80% is traveling, okay, then you have an amount. This amount, you put it aside in the beginning of every month, okay? If you do this, you don't see the money, but it's there. You don't see, you don't have it, you don't spend it. It's already saved for your travels. It was like this that we were able to get the money to do our travels every time, okay? So the third thing that we have done is and sacrifice also. There's another category in here that we can sacrifice every year. So if you have bonuses, allowances, define a percentage of those categories that you are able to live without. So if you have an annual bonus, you say 50% of my annual bonus will also go to my savings. 50% of my Christmas allowance, my vacation allowance, depending on your country and your legislation. We define a percentage of what we want to sacrifice yearly. Okay, so in the end, habits. We have changed what we have seen in our family. We changed a lot our habits. For instance, 2 years ago, we decided to install solar panels in our home, and we define a goal for us. So we have to reduce the electrical bill in X%. And every time the electrical bill arrived, we looked into the same month the previous year and we checked the difference. It's important to do this because we defined a set of behaviors that we had to have so that this could happen. Okay, if we have solar panels, we cannot connect all the machines at the same time. You don't do the dishes and laundry at the same time because the panels will not be efficient. First one, then the other. And this change of habits, this is just an example. This change in habits had a huge impact in our bill. And like this example, there were a lot of other things that we have done. And as a family, we can see, me and Rita, we can see the girls evolving with this. The commitment, the financial commitment that they have when they travel with us, and they understand that when they use their money that they have saved from their gifts and birthdays and Christmas, whatever, the same thing that we do in our family, they do with their money. So this is great for financial education. We also optimized our finances. I believe it's every 3 other years, we try to look into our contracts and see if there's anything that we can do. Our loans, insurance, we change if we have to. We have this enhanced, so we do this every 3 other years. And also another thing that we have done, we do this every year, is we take a look into all our expense lists and categorize it this way. This is a key expense. This is not key, but makes me happy. This is not key and doesn't make me happy. Why do I spend money on this? And this is a very cool exercise to do as a family. We do it the 4. We have a meeting, we revisit the lists, and we change what we want to change or whatever. So this is the 3 stones methodology: awareness, savings, and change. And the next step is to travel. So we'll not go into travel now, but plan what you want to do, save for it, and do it. We took 1 year from the day we decided to do our first around the world journey, me and Rita. 5 years from the day we decided, 2013 from 2018. And we took 3 years to save for the next one because we were ready last year, but there was a virus and so on. So depends on your destinations. Let's see, if you travel to Asia, everything is cheaper. If you travel to the States, everything is more expensive. So plan, save, and travel. It's easy. What's in it for us? What we believe the challenge is that we have to plan for a long-term journey. It's great because it gives you a sense of commitment, and we see that in our kids. It's many people save to have cars and to have material things. We save to travel. That's our pillar. The ability to estimate rights is, we are getting better and better, of course, with the experience, but it's difficult. This is a challenge. Uncontrolled events is, for you to know, on our next journey, the first destination was Moscow. We had to change that. We were supposed to be traveling last year. And the weight is, it's fantastic because you build up on that, but it's difficult to get everybody committed when you have to wait a long time for a certain journey. The commitment is great to engage all the family. Everybody has a destination to prepare, so we divided all the destinations throughout the family, and you get to pick what you want to prepare. And we say prepare is what we cannot miss, what we should avoid, what do other people say about this destination, whatever. Delegate these responsibilities. And I remember when we visited LA with Mariana, she had a list of all the stars she wanted to see in the Walk of Fame. Okay, now we turn right, 10 meters to the left, 10 meters to the left, there's a star that I want to see. We were crazy with that list. Also, the commitment to save in the beginning of the month, put the money aside. And this is very important. If you commit to this, you will be successful. And we still have to travel in between. So if you don't continue on traveling in between, small trips, whatever, you may be a little bit more demotivated or whatever. So we continue on traveling, smaller trips, of course, but we continue on traveling. Impacts and the impact and benefits on our family. What we have seen throughout the years is the tolerance is great for the kids, for instance. The cultural awareness and tolerance is incredible. For you to see, or for them to be able to see what they have seen already with their age, different cultures, different religions, different people. Also the financial awareness that they have now. We believe we are contributing to their future. Empowerment to say, I remember when Beatriz was 10 and she was saying, I don't speak the language. Can you go there and see if they have a certain thing? And I said, you go, you ask. And she went. Mimics and gestures and pointing. And she was so happy with the accomplishment. It was tiny, but she was so happy. And that the next time she didn't ask me, she just went. So this empowerment is great. And we say that we have a constant challenge-driven family. That's, people say, what's the next challenge now? So we always have to have a challenge, and that is great because we have a challenge together. I don't believe, me and Rita, we don't believe that the next around the world journey will happen with the kids, because they will not be kids anymore and they will have their own lives. But they say they want to go. So it's great to be able to have a 20-year-old kid or a 22-year-old kid that wants to travel with their parents. This is not common. Okay, what's ahead? As I told you, we have a challenge this year. We are going as a family and with a couple of friends. We are visiting Petra, that's filled in for Moscow. We changed Moscow. We are going to Sri Lanka. We are going to Bangkok. Koh Samui, it's an island in Thailand. Seoul, Kyoto, Auckland, Santiago de Chile, and New York. It's a different kind of journey. Every journey is different, and this is the great part of traveling. The world is so huge that you can always choose different things to see and different things to do. And that's it. Jonathan, I don't know if you have any questions or...
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I will open up for questions. Of course, we still have some time, so I will let you guys ask any questions. You can do it on the chat or in the Q&A section. So feel free to ask any questions and then I will just read them. Okay, so there is a question from Ian. He's asking if you took more risk traveling as a couple versus or with a family. So like visiting risky locations, staying in less comfortable accommodation, etc. So how do you balance risk when you travel with your wife or just with the entire family?
Yes, yes, we did. But nevertheless, we are not risky people. So we do not. We are more risky now. Interestingly, that we are getting older, and we want to risk more. But we had different decisions when we traveled alone than when we traveled with our kids. Today that they are older, we are getting there again. We want to risk more. We want to go to Petra and stay in the desert in some tents. I would not do that 4 years ago. Probably. I was a different person. 2013, we did things as a couple that we would not do with the kids. We traveled the deserts of Nevada by car, alone. Probably with the kids, we wouldn't do that. And that's it.
Yeah, cool. There is another question from Kashiem, and she's asking, did you have any dangerous or scary situations in any country during those travels?
We had some concerns with in risky neighborhoods. For instance, in Buenos Aires, we were a little bit scared in a very poor neighborhood, but we wanted so much to go to a specific restaurant to eat great meat that they have there. But we were a little bit scared because we were looking at the police and all the people. Also, we had a situation in the United States where we were not expecting to be in dangerous neighborhoods, and suddenly we seemed to be in a police movie with all the sirens and the guys with the socks in the head and the cars bouncing back and but no, we did not took unnecessary risks. We did not I don't think we had a dangerous situation to solve or something, neither health or security.
Cool. Yeah, there are more questions coming, so I'm just going through them if you don't mind. There is a question from Alex. She's asking, how do you find it using up all your holidays in one go and not spreading it out throughout the year? Do you feel like fatigue when you don't take holidays for a long time throughout the year? How do you manage
Okay,
your time?
that's an easy one. So in Portugal, we have 22 days of vacation. What we do is every year we leave 3 days behind so that we can use the next year. And when we go to the fourth year, when we are planning to go, when you go to the fourth year, you actually have 30 days vacation. You use 24, 25 for this journey, and you can use some extras, 1 or 2 days, or 3 or 4, throughout the year to extend the weekend. And we really use weekends. We travel a lot during weekends. From Portugal to the world, as in England, also, it's very easy to go to Europe to do a 2-day getaway. So we do it a lot. It looks like vacation, and you don't have to use vacation time. And if you use holidays, even better.
Cool. Ian is saying, thank you for sharing numbio.com, very useful. And then there is another question from Thomas. He's asking, would you consider to visit not that many locations during one travel and instead traveling each year?
We never thought about it. We started in 2013. It was not planned to do it like this. In 2013 we wanted to do the Gold Coast in Australia and the Route 66, but we did not have enough time. So we decided to include this journey in an around the world journey. But then we liked it so much to change place every 3 days that now we cannot stay. When we stay for 4 or 5 days in a place, we start to get itchy. So we should change. And that's why every 4 years or every 5 years or every 3 years, when we do a journey like this one, we change a lot and quickly. In the meanwhile, so in 2019, we went to Greece and we stayed for 1 week in Greece in 2 or 3 places. In 2017, we had a road trip in California for 1 week. In 2021, we went around Spain by car, a road trip again. So we travel a lot, not an around the world journey with this type of costs and this amount of time. We continue on traveling. So this is the travel for us. This type of traveling with the changes every 3 days, it's great. It's fantastic. You have to try it. If you try it, you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Cool, thank you. Yeah, I don't think there are more questions coming, but I do have one, which for me, I would like to hear from you, of course. How do you use this knowledge and this experience within your professional life? Or the other way around, did you use any skills or learnings from working as a manager and then apply them to these kind of projects?
Yeah, Jonathan, it's difficult to separate, I believe. And I have 3 roles in here in the family. As you said in the beginning, I'm a roller hockey coach. That I have 12 people that I lead in the team, and I'm a manager at Novabas. It's difficult not to use the skills across all these fields, and I think that the challenge is not to, and I don't believe I do a good job here. The challenge is not to professionalize your family. It's not good to professionalize your family, and sometimes I do it. But every time I think about engagements, I remember what I do with gamification, with innovation in design thinking. Every time I want to engage my family in something, I use those methodology. Indirectly sometimes. I don't call it, let's do a gamification meeting. I don't do that in my family, but I try to understand which behaviors I want to promote, what are the triggers for those behaviors, which actions I have to do so that the behaviors are there. And sometimes I do game mechanics. I don't do a leaderboard because there are only 2 girls in the family, but if I had 6 kids, I could do a leaderboard. So I would have levels and whatever. I use some of the things that I have learned in my professional life in hockey. I do it in my family, but I try not to overstep and try to not professionalize a lot. Still, I have my dashboards and my Excel spreadsheets and the apps, but this is good because they like to do it. They like to use the apps.
Cool, thank you. So let me check one last time if there are more questions. Yeah, I don't think so. So I think we are going to wrap up this session. Thank you so much, Pedro. I've learned so much from you today, and thank you for your time and for putting those slides together. I think it was amazing, and I hope everyone enjoyed the session as well. I will share the recording with you as well. I will share my presentation. So I will send out an email to all of you as well, guys. So yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you, Pedro, once again, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.